Hi, this is Jackie Maldonado with Jesus Resurrection Ministry, and this is the 7th episode of Rising Musing Women Leaders podcast. It is my first podcast, and if you have not heard the previous episodes, I would encourage you to go ahead and listen to them. Now, please have some grace as it is my first time and the first few ones are pretty rough, but I am trying to keep this as authentic as possible so that you can just get to know me a little through this podcast. Now, today's episode is on chapter 6 of the book that I am writing, and it is called The Threshing Floor. Now, the threshing floor that I'm going to speak about, it's going to be the Greatest Craftsman's threshing floor, or should I say, our God, the Creator's threshing floor. The threshing floor that he has on the top hill of his mountain where his people dwell. Now, for those of you who do not really know what a threshing floor is, it is a place where the grain and the wheat are separated. It's a flat surface, it's round, and it normally is on top of the mountains. Now, what does the threshing floor mean to us? It is a place of testing. It is a place of trials. It is a place of growth, and it's also a place of freedom. Now, I believe that as we came into 2020, that we began a new era, and I strongly believe that we have been going through this threshing floor of the Lord as he has been separating that which is good from that which is evil. He has put us there because he needs to know if he can entrust us with what he is bringing into the earth. So it's a process that we all are required to go through. Now, the threshing floor is where you also get pushed, where you will push yourself, and when you are changed. It's a place to take responsibility of what you're thinking about the pains. It is a place where you develop patience. It is not something that's going to happen overnight, but as you have patience, the reward will be great. David in the Bible knew the significance of what a threshing floor was. And in Samuel's 2nd, chapter 24, verses 16 and 25, if you go read those chapters, you will see that he goes and he tries to buy this threshing floor to build an altar on it to give in sacrifice for the people. It was going to be an altar where he will not only sacrifice for the people, but it was for worshiping the Lord. So God is calling us to give a sacrifice to him and to worship him in the midst of it in the threshing floor. Now, another thing that he knew is that he knew he had to pay for it. They tried to give it to him for free. They told David, no, just take it. And he said, no, I cannot just take it. I have to buy it, because he knew the value of the threshing floor. Solomon also built the house of the Lord on the threshing floor, the place his father David had prepared. There is deep spiritual understanding in these stories, and God is giving out a message to his people through the threshing floor. And it's time to come in to the threshing floor so that he can build his temple. This is where his temple will begin to be built. So going through the threshing floor means that we will decrease so that he can increase. John had a revelation of how important this was, and this is why he said, I must decrease so that you could increase. And what this means is that we empty ourselves, and then we are filled with the Spirit of the Lord. And in this age, we see that people are just so full of themselves now. And so now we're required even more than ever to really empty ourselves of all our selfish ways. And the only way we could do that is by going through the threshing floor of the greatest craftsman. So what does it mean for us to go through his threshing floor? It means trials and tribulation. It will cause you to suffer. It will hurt you. Okay? It's a painful, you'll feel the painful groan pains. It's a pressing, it's a pressure. It's a place where your spirit is burdensome. It means you have anguish, which is what Jesus went through in the Garden of Olives. It was a type of tribulation that began for him. Like his spirit was so anguished that he actually sweated blood. And a lot of the times when we're going through the threshing floor, where we're going through the process, where we're going through all this pressure, we feel like we're dying inside. We feel like we're bleeding inside. But in reality, it's only going to bring the glory of God, as Jesus did when he died on that cross. Okay? Now, you also need to understand that it is a place where you will also become humble. You will be humble, okay? And why would you become humble? Because you'll realize that nothing that you do can you accomplish without him. It's a place where you will learn to trust in the Lord, to rely on him. So in the midst of your darkest moment, where you face your trials, your suffering, your tribulation, this will cause you to die to all your flesh. And what's going to birth from you is the Christ, the life within you. And that'll flow. And the glory of God will flow. And you will make disciples. And you will teach. But it's only through the threshing floor. Tribulation in this life is part of Christianity. So if you're not going through it, I promise you, you will. And if you go seasons without it, then I'll suggest that you examine yourself, because it could mean that you became complacent or you're not growing in the Lord. So it's better to go through the threshing floor of today than to go in the threshing floor of the latter and final one, where those will be separated either into heaven or into hell. So please, let him process you now. He processes you not because he's a horrible father, but because he's a good father who wants to give gifts. He wants to give you gifts, but he has to make sure that you are more than capable of receiving these gifts. Okay? Now, you as a woman will become a woman that fears the Lord through this threshing floor of his, through the process that he puts you on. You will fear him, and not fear it as in scary, he scares you, but rather, you're going to be in awe, because you're going to see his mighty hand in your life, and you're going to see how he just takes all that impurity out of you and fills you up with goodness. You're going to see the fruits that he brings forth out of him. This is also a place where he sanctifies. He says, sanctify them to minister as my priest to me in Exodus 29:1. Sanctification is not only holiness, but there is a deeper truth of God's view of sanctification. Sanctification means to set apart, which is exactly what the threshing floor does. Set apart for an exclusive use of God. It means coming out of that which is past, that junk that comes off. You look back in order to see where you come out of, and go through the process of the threshing floor where your grain can come out for the flour and the bread, for every daily thing. In other words, your sanctification has the process that God can retain that which is usable for Him. And this sanctification will cause you to have a holy fear of Him and a love that you have never experienced. You would love Him deeply. It will reveal to you His mighty hand, and He will be magnified through it. The fear of the Lord. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's what needs to be restored back. Nobody fears the Lord no more. Okay, so He has to put the pressure. He has to bring forth that pressure so that treasure within His people can come out. When you undergo the pressure of the threshing floor, what is in you will come out, whether good or bad. The pressure will show you what's really inside of you. The threshing floor is a place where you come to know things that are within you that you didn't even know that were in there, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Now, of course, He's going to only use the good for His harvest. The bad is going to be blown into smithereens. Thank God for His threshing floor. Thank God that He does this work for us and through us for our own good. He is making you the yeast. You are the yeast of the world. The world is like dough, okay? You will contaminate it and you will expand it. And instead of them influencing you, you're going to influence them. He's preparing us as Esther's preparation. In the book, if you purchase it when it comes out, which I'm hoping it comes out maybe by June or July of 2022, it explains more of the preparation she had to go through. It was an approximately year-long preparation, and I go and kind of explain to you what the 6 months of her first preparation was like and what the second 6 months of her preparation was like and what it is that it is preparing you for. I know that there was a great move that's coming upon the earth, and we do need to be prepared, and therefore we do need to go through the threshing floor, which I believe many of us have been going through. That's why many of us, you don't know what's going on. You don't know why you're feeling a certain way. You don't know why these situations are coming up, or these temptations, or you're feeling like you just want to give up on life. But it is only because you are in the threshing floor process. But you will come out, and I believe that this year, 2020, God is going to do some miraculous things in our lives if we hold on to Him and rely on Him, if we are obedient to Him and go through the process and don't give up. And you will see mighty things. In the middle of chaos, there's going to be wonderful, unexpected things for you. So just hold on tight. Hold on tight and just know that it's just a process and it's only for the good. And that is going to be it for today. And I hope that you can tune in for my next podcast. I'm going to go ahead and try to come back next week and see if I can go ahead and do chapter 7, which is going to be speaking about kingship. So I hope that this podcast has blessed you so far, and I hope that you continue to tune in and that we become more like a family through this communication. God bless y'all. May the Lord bless your week. Bye-bye.